Hello, I'm Simon Richardson from the Manx Radio Newsroom. Manx Utilities' latest plan to end the discharge of raw sewage into Laxey Bay has been under the spotlight at two public information days at Laxey and Baldrine. The proposal is to pump raw sewage up to a new plant within the Axnfell Plantation and then use the existing outfall to return the treated water to the sea. At the Baldrine event, I spoke to Manx Utilities Executive Director with responsibility for water and wastewater, Tim Woakes, and also to Ian George from consultants Arcadis.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say a huge thank you to everyone from Laxey and Baldrine for taking the time to come and visit us over the last 2 days. I mean, the interest has been great. We've had loads of people who want to know what we're doing. They want to hear more about our plans. And they share our passion, really, for wanting to finally put an end to the discharge of raw sewage into the bay. The feedback has been fairly balanced, I would say. We've obviously got loads of feedback forms that we need to take away and do some analysis on. But based on the conversations that we've had, there are a number of people that still say that they'd like to see sewage pumped all the way to Miriveg. There are a number of people that believe what we proposed a few years ago down at the Cairn site is the right way forward. But what we're proposing, we believe, is an excellent compromise in that it gives us the majority of the benefits of a pump away option, but without the complete cost and environmental impact of that. Loads of questions on odour, vibration, links back to the old issues that we had at Whitehoe, and we've been able to explain to people that it's so different now. We're 25 years on from that. Vibration and noise just aren't an issue with our new pump stations. Odour, again, odour control facilities at all of the sites that we've got, odour won't be an issue. So yeah, all the questions that you'd expect, and we've been able to, I think, give most people assurance that what we're proposing won't give real detriment to local residents' lives, but will provide that benefit that people want.
In terms of the end result, of course, everybody, including yourselves, are singing from the same hymn sheet, in effect. One of the issues that seems to have been raised when we've been talking to people was, if you like, the quality of the final product that will be disposed of back into the sea. I think the question was that it was going to be good and of bathing water quality, but not excellent. Maybe you could outline what the difference between the two.
Yeah, certainly. So with all of our treatment works, the final effluent that we produce is dictated to a licence of discharge that's provided by or given to us by DEFRA. DEFRA have set out fairly recently new bathing water standards for the Isle of Man, and that tells us that we have to provide a good standard of bathing water within the bay. So the difference between good and excellent is really based on level of what we call fecal indicators, so the amount of bacteria essentially within the water. I can't remember the exact figures, I'm afraid, but there is a difference between good and excellent. So obviously excellent is slightly better water quality. So we've committed to providing good, but actually the modelling that we've done for Laxey indicates we'll likely be providing that excellent bathing water quality that people really do want.
One question, the fact choosing Axnfell, given its height above the village, were there no other sites lower that might have been possible?
So we looked at many sites. Axnfell really is the preferred site to us that is available and deliverable, and that's the key with this. There have been lots of questions on pumping up hills. People saying, well, it's crazy that you're pumping up a hill, but actually pumping sewage up hills is not unique to this scheme. It is done across the Isle of Man, it is done across the UK, and it's done across the world. It's quite often within sewage networks that sewage runs downhill, and where all those sewers come together, the confluence, quite often they're in locations that aren't suitable for sewage treatment works, and so that sewage is pumped away. Interestingly, on the Isle of Man, a good comparator is the Douglas catchment, which obviously pumps to Miriveg. Now, to pump from Douglas to Miriveg actually goes up around about 100 metres. So here, to get from Laxey up to Axnfell, we're looking at about 120 metres. So it's actually not that different, and quite common everywhere that sewage is pumped up hills.
How difficult a technical job will this project be?
The actual works itself is fairly straightforward. We've built a number of these works across the island. We're very experienced. We've got contractors on island that are experienced in building those works, so that should be fairly straightforward. The biggest complexity really is getting the pipe work away from the pumping station site at the Cairns down in Laxey, across the river and up out of Laxey. That's the biggest challenge. But we're confident that we'll be able to do that. We've done lots of ground investigations, lots of utility searches to make sure that the pipeline routes we're choosing are viable, and that when the contractor starts, it's a perfectly achievable solution.
Ian George, this is one of a number of projects that have come forward and for one reason or another have been rejected. In terms of the planning process, are you confident that this time it can go through?
Well, that's certainly our intention for these works. We've listened to what the community said as a result of the last planning application, listed all of those issues out where the planning application was rejected, and really done our best to achieve what the best for Laxey and Baldrine in the choosing of this site. We've listened to odour concerns, noise, vibration, impact on the conservation area, visual impact, and we've moved the treatment works as far away as we can from the majority of the population. There still is required to be a pump station both at Baldrine and at Laxey, and we're doing our best to make sure that fits in with a conservation area.
Tim, after, of course, the planning comes the job itself, and what kind of timescale, looking on the bright side from your perspective, would that be?
I mean, based on other schemes that we've delivered, we think it'd be a minimum of 18 months, potentially 2 years at the longest. A lot of it will depend on resource availability on the island. We've obviously got, all being well, a big scheme starting up next year at Peel. It could well be that the timing works quite well in that as the big civil engineering works at Peel start to come to an end, we'll be in a position to move over onto Laxey. So yeah, 18 months at best, probably closer to 2 years.
Thank you for making it to the end of the Manx Radio Newscast. You are obviously someone with exquisite taste. May I politely suggest you might want to subscribe to this and a wide range of Manx Radio podcasts at your favourite podcast provider so our best bits will magically appear on your smartphone. Thank you.